Ethan Cole stared blankly at the digital interface floating above his desk. Lines of code scrolled endlessly, but none of it made sense anymore. He rubbed his temples, trying to shake off the haze that clung to his mind like a stubborn fog. Sleep had been elusive lately, and the anti-somnolence pills were losing their effectiveness. Another late night? A voice chimed from behind. Ethan turned to see Mara, his colleague, leaning against the doorway of his cramped office. Her eyes held a mixture of concern and curiosity. "Something like that," he replied. "I keep getting these flashes." Flashes? Visions, memories. I'm not sure what to call them. Places I've never been, people I've never met. Mara stepped inside, her gaze intensifying. "You should be careful. You know what they say about overexposure." Ethan nodded absently. Overexposure to the NeuroLink was a common hazard in their line of work. As programmers for NeuroSync Corp, they developed virtual realities so immersive that the mind struggled to distinguish them from true experiences. "Maybe you should take a break," Mara suggested. "Maybe," Ethan agreed, though he knew he wouldn't. Something was pulling at him, an unfinished thread he couldn't ignore. After Mara left, he closed his eyes and initiated a deep dive into the NeuroLink. The world around him dissolved, replaced by a vast expanse of shifting colors and shapes. He found himself standing in a cityscape that was both familiar and alien. Towering skyscrapers twisted at impossible angles, and the sky was a shade of purple he had never seen. "Welcome back, Ethan," a voice echoed. He turned to see a man dressed in a sleek suit, his features sharp yet unremarkable. "Do I know you?" Ethan asked. "Not yet, but we've been waiting for you." "We?" The surroundings flickered, and suddenly Ethan was in a dimly lit room. A group of individuals sat around a circular table, their faces obscured by shadows. "You're experiencing the bleed-through, aren't you?" One of them spoke. "The what?" "The memories of your other selves," another explained. "Fragments from parallel realities seeping into your consciousness." Ethan felt a chill. That's not possible. Parallel realities are just theoretical. "Then, how do you explain the visions?" The first one retorted. "The places you've never been, but remember vividly?" He had no answer. The visions had been growing more intense, images of a family he didn't have, a life he never lived. "We need your help," the man in the suit said, stepping forward. "The barriers between dimensions are collapsing. You're one of the few who can perceive it." Ethan shook his head. "This is just a simulation. None of this is real." "Reality is subjective," the man replied. "What's real to you might be a simulation to someone else." Before Ethan could respond, the environment shattered like glass, and he was back in his office, gasping for air. Sweat dripped down his forehead, and his heart pounded like a drum. He glanced at his monitor. The code was different now, symbols and equations he didn't recognize. They seemed to pulse with a life of their own. His wrist communicator buzzed. It was Mara. "Ethan, there's something you need to see," she said urgently. "Not now," he muttered. "It's important. Meet me in Lab 7. Reluctantly, he made his way to the lab. When he arrived, Mara was standing before a large screen displaying a complex neural map. "What is this?" he asked. "It's your brain activity," she said. "I ran a scan after you left. Look at these patterns. They're off the charts." He studied the screen. The neural pathways were lit up like a constellation. "What does it mean?" "It means you're accessing parts of the brain that are usually dormant, areas associated with higher dimensional perception." Ethan felt the room spin. "I need to know what's happening to me." Mara hesitated. "There's a project's classified, even above our clearance. It's called the Multiverse Initiative. They've been experimenting with cross-dimensional communication." "Are you saying they're responsible for this?" "Maybe. Or maybe you're tapping into something on your own, something they couldn't achieve artificially." Before they could delve deeper, alarms blared throughout the facility. Red lights flashed, and a synthesized voice announced, "Security breach in Sector 3. Initiate lockdown protocols." "What's going on?" Ethan shouted over the noise. Mara's eyes widened. "They must have detected the anomaly in your neural scan. We have to get you out of here." They raced through the corridors as doors sealed behind them. Security drones hovered overhead, their sensors scanning for unauthorized movement. "This way," Mara urged, leading him to a maintenance hatch. They crawled through a network of ducts until they emerged outside, into the cold night air. Ethan took a deep breath, the reality of the situation settling in. "What now?" "We find the others," Mara said. "Others?" "You're not the only one experiencing this. There's a group of us who believe that our reality is just one of many, that we can connect with our counterparts across dimensions." Ethan recalled the individuals in his vision. "I think I met them." Mara looked at him sharply. "Then it's already begun." They moved through the city under the cover of darkness, arriving at an abandoned warehouse. Inside, a dozen people turned to face them, some he recognized from his vision. "Welcome, Ethan," the man in the suit greeted him. "We've been expecting you." "Why me?" Ethan asked. "What makes me so special?" "You're the convergence point," the man explained. "In every reality, there's a version of you seeking answers. You're the constant across all variables." Mara placed a hand on his shoulder. "With your help, we can stabilize the barriers, prevent the collapse." Ethan took a moment to process everything. The weight of infinite realities pressed upon him, each one fragile and interconnected. "Tell me what I need to do," he said finally. The group began their work, syncing their neural interfaces to create a network of minds working in unison. As they delved deeper, Ethan felt himself stretching across dimensions, his consciousness expanding. Visions flooded in a myriad of worlds, some utopian, others ravaged. He saw himself in countless forms, each one a fragment of the whole. Amidst the chaos, a singular truth emerged. Reality was not a fixed point, but a spectrum of possibilities. And at the center of it all was choice. With newfound clarity, Ethan guided the collective effort, weaving together the frayed edges of existence. Slowly, the turbulence subsided, and a sense of harmony spread across the network. He opened his eyes. The others looked at him with a mix of awe and relief. "It's done," the man in the suit confirmed. "The collapse has been averted." Ethan felt a profound peace. "What happens now?" "Now," Mara smiled, "we explore. With the barriers stabilized, we can learn from our other selves, share knowledge and experiences." Ethan nodded. A multiverse of possibilities. As dawn broke, bathing the world in golden light, Ethan stepped outside. For the first time, he saw the interconnectedness of all things, not just in theory, but as a tangible reality. And he knew that, whatever challenges lay ahead, he would no longer face them alone.